What's up, cool kids? John here from What's Johnny Watching. Now, the other day, my friend Huck over at Huck's Pop Culture Cafe issued a challenge to us in the community. Huck wants us to list our top 5 favorite on-screen duos that have appeared in movies. Well, as you can see, I got a lot of movies behind me. So that was a really tall task for me. But I think I finally narrowed it down. So I have my top 5 favorite all-time movie duos. So before I get into it, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and it would greatly help out the channel. And go ahead and throw a like in there too, because likes are free. So here are my top 5 movie duos. Number 5, this movie kind of broke the mold, and I love the 2 characters in this. It's Danny Glover, Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon. I mean, from the very beginning of the movie, you have Mel Gibson as Riggs, he plays this suicidal cop, and Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, is the straight-laced cop, and they're kind of forced to work together. They play off each other really well. There's some heartfelt moments in this, especially when Riggs is deciding whether or not to commit suicide because he lost his wife. But in the end, they learn from each other, and they actually do love each other. They become like best friends. So this is my number 5. As for my number 4, it's a sequel in one of the best franchises that's ever been made, and I gotta go with Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now again, like in Lethal Weapon, Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis are kind of forced to work together. If you've seen Die Hard with a Vengeance, which I'm pretty sure you have, those two have to work together in order to stop a mad bomber in New York City. They don't necessarily like each other, but they grow to respect each other. Sam Jackson has some of the funniest lines in this movie. It's great. I love the way they play off of each other. Sam Jackson's always accusing John McClane of being a racist when he's not. The situations that they're put into, it's because I'm black, isn't? No, it's not that. It's great. It's funny. I love it. A lot of people would say Sam Jackson and John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. I didn't want to add that one on my list because they really don't share the screen that much throughout the entire course of the movie. But in this, 90% of the movie, whenever you see John McClane, you see Carver right next to him. I mean, they're just, when you see one, you see the other. As for my number 3, this is one of the best comedies of the 90s. And what else can I say? It's Eddie and Martin, and it's life. Much like the other 2, Eddie and Martin are forced to be together. Where they have to. Martin Lawrence is short on money, so he has to become a bootlegger, and he has to help Eddie Murphy truck some booze down to Mississippi, and where it's a case of mistaken identity, they're sentenced to life in prison together. They don't like each other, but in the end, they really do care for one another, and it's a fantastic comedy. I love it. Miss you, Bernie Mac. I love this. Now, as for my number 2, this one is a comedy from the 80s, but I would say it's a more comedy/drama, and it's Steve Martin, John Candy, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I absolutely love John Candy in this. I think the way they play off of each other, again, like the others, they're kind of stuck with each other. They don't want to be there with each other, or at least Steve Martin doesn't want to be there with John Candy. But just the way they play off one another, and at the very end of the movie, you have that heartfelt scene at the subway station, and they end up loving each other. They're friends with each other at the very end. The way these two play off each other is just amazing. I love it. This is one of my funniest movies where on-screen duos. Now, as for my number one, this one was really hard to do because I was trying to figure out, well, which one should be in there. But at the end, I just said no. There's no way this has to be on there. And it's Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, with Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. The way they play it, unlike the others, these two, they need each other. They're not forced together. But in a way, just the way they play off each other, father and son, bickering back and forth, the love that's shared between the both of them. You love it. You get to see how Indiana Jones became Indiana Jones, and you find out that that's not his real name. They named the dog Indiana. Sean Connery is great in this as his father, and it's just listen to them bicker back and forth. It's great. I absolutely loved it, and that is my number one on-screen duo. So, what'd you guys think? Let me know down in the comments and down in the comments section below what your top 5 are. And I will also add a link to Huck's channel in this, where he talks about the community challenge, so you guys can make your own video. So that's all I got. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And oh yeah, one more thing. What are you going to watch today?